Special legislative meeting, board meeting of Tuesday, June 17, 2025. And so we will start with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Epps will read the statement of acknowledgement in honor of Indigenous and diverse communities.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. And I don't recite the pledge out of respect for those whose lives have been stolen, misused, or killed in the name of greed, cloaked as democracy, but certainly don't block those who choose to do so. So thank you. I'll read the statement of acknowledgement in honor of Indigenous and diverse communities. We begin this meeting with acknowledgement of and honor for the many legacies that have impacted our community, particularly those buried over time. Acknowledging truth is critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. Cheltenham Township stands within the Lenape-Hokink, the ancestral homeland of the Lenape civilization. Their people were and still are caretakers of this land and its rivers, and their legacy continues. We pay respect to their elders, past and present. Our community owes its existence and vitality to generations from and around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in the hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together. As a school district committed to fostering intellectual curiosity and discourse in service of social justice, please join us in uncovering any further truths.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. Mr. Swigart will conduct a roll call.
Ms. Blitzstein,
Present.
Mr. Riddell Williams,
Present.
Mr. Epps,
Present.
Ms. Henry,
Present.
Ms. Lohman,
Is Ms. Loman
Present.
present?
Ms. Mulhern,
Present.
Ms. Murphy,
Present.
Mr. Schultz,
Present.
Dr. White.
Present.
That concludes the roll call. Thank you, Mr. Swigert. Dr. Savage will provide the solicitor's report.
The board met in executive session on June 12, 2025 to consult with counsel regarding the status of multiple pending matters of tax assessment appeal litigation.
Thank you, Dr. Savage. We have public comments on agenda items only. There is a change to the procedure for agenda items in that if you are in the room and present, you can speak. Please announce your name and where you reside in the district. If you are online, streaming and or on Zoom, please utilize the board CSD board meeting comments at cheltenham.org for your comments to be placed in the record. And if required, if there's an answer that is required, you will be reached out to regarding that. So you can let me know if anybody can, if they're checking the board meetings. That does that. Well, there's no one in the room. We'll move on to the approval of agenda items. And so for the approval of agenda items, the first thing to be approved item is the adoption of the 2025-2026 final budget and tax levy. I have a motion to approve.
So moved, Daniel Schultz.
Second.
Second, Robin Murphy.
Thank you. Are there any board comments? Schultz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to note that for those who are watching, this represents a 3% tax increase, 3% increase to our anticipated expenditures for the next year. a large number of, a large portion of those expenditures are directly related to our contract, negotiated contracts, which reflect cost of living increases. They also represent needed resources for students with special education, as well as anticipated potential liabilities related to things like assessments and future construction projects. I'm very thankful to this administration and to our finance committee for the amount of time and energy and care that has gone into this budget. I personally recognize that a 3% tax increase is a tax increase and it will impact our community, but our community is also one that values public education and well-funded public. This increase is also 1% lower than the Act 1 index, which is the state's baseline. I think of it as a pacer in a race. 4% is what the state has said is essentially a status quo increase. We are below what the state has called a status quo increase. And that is the direction we need to be in as a district to continue to be fiscally responsible. So thank you again. And I will be voting to support this item of the agenda. Thank you.
Mr. Liddell Williams.
Thank you. I do applaud the administration for their work on this budget and their patience because we still do not have a approved state budget to this point in time, and that does make plotting out our revenue streams for the following year quite difficult. So I do want to also use this moment to share with the community and for all in the room that this is my saying, please do reach out to your local elected officials and even those who are not local to share your feedback related to fair funding in the state of Pennsylvania when it comes to public education. There are a number of budget items that would seriously impact our budget in a positive way. One of them being a cap on cyber charter costs. I do know that this is an ongoing challenge for us, but just because the summer is upon us and this board will not be spending time every Tuesday meeting, I know many of us plan to advocate for fair funding in the state, and I'm happy that I can work alongside with folks who will do that. Secondly, why is that important, and why is this the increases, or why is our budget discussion so important? This is the cost of public education and the quality education that we get here in Cheltenham. I've been on this board. I've been lucky enough to have been on this board almost 6 years, and I can say that in that time, I've watched the school district manage expenses very well and put the community in position where tax increases and that impact on our community has been significantly less than it was before my time on the board. Not saying that's all on me, because it is not at all. As a matter of fact, I have probably very little to do with it, but very encouraged by the way that the district has continued to manage expenses. And we'll say that of the $140 million budget, much of that revenue, nearly 80%, is coming from local sources. So back to my first comment, we do need help from our state to support us with revenue. So please do continue your advocacy. If you haven't started, today is a great day to do so. Thank you.
Are there any other board comments? All right, Mr. Swigert, you're gonna do a.
I had my hand raised. Sorry.
I got that hand up.
Mr. Epps.
Sorry. Yep. Thank you. Definitely appreciate the sentiments that were raised, and wanted to express, as folks from the public have followed, we have voted on a preliminary version, a final version, and so certainly we'll say it again that I appreciate the diligence that the administration has brought forth, but I also, we talk about a lot of it is framed around a tax increase, but I something we've also talked about is strategic foresight. And so when, the administration, when data was brought forward in terms of our finances and what it would take in terms of not just, we know a lot of our funds goes towards, supporting our staff, but not just towards that, but we knew that in order to enhance student services, costs were going to increase. And in terms of enhancing student services, for some students who need it the most in special accommodations. And so over the last 2 months, we've heard not just changes from preliminary to final, but what those changes represent. And a lot of what those changes represent is enhanced services. And we'll even see that in the agenda later today around high instruction quality materials. And so I wanted to applaud for the strategic foresight and bring in another principal Taylorism, right? When we've said everything, what can I say? I'll say it again. Thank you. So I wanted to say thank you to the administration, because we're not alone. We do hear a tax increase, but we're certainly not alone in that. Around the county of Montgomery County, 3% represents somewhere in the middle towards the lower end of some of the tax increases that have been approved already and are pending approval throughout Montgomery County. So we definitely don't stand alone in this advocacy effort that Mr. Burdell Williams talked about, and we don't stand alone in terms of doing what is needed to best serve our students. So again, thank you for administration. I'll be voting to support this, and I'll be gladly voting to approve some of the materials in our next agenda. So I do appreciate that we can talk about, yes, we have to increase funds, but look a little later in our agenda, and this is some of the reasons why. So I'll pause there and yield the rest of my time.
Piper, you can contest the vote.
Yes. Ms. Blitzstein,
Yay.
Mr. Burdell Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Epps,
Aye.
Ms. Henry,
Aye.
Ms. Loman,
Aye.
Ms. Mulhern,
Aye.
Ms. Murphy.
Aye.
Mr. Schultz,
Yay.
Dr. Whiting.
Aye.
The ayes and the yeas have it. That passed. All right, we will move on to the approval of the consent agenda. I have a motion to approve.
So moved, Leah Mulhern. Second, Mia Blitzstein.
The administration would like to note that there are 2 mistakes in the consent agenda that we would like to actually verbalize and make sure that the public and the board are aware of. So under the approval of agreements for an approved private school placement, we want to note that the language there is actually wrong. That should say the approval of agreements for an educational service agreement, and it should read as follows. The administration recommends the board approve the educational services agreement between the district and the parent guardians of the student identified below by confidential student number in the form presented to the board, student number 408130. And also above that, in the section that says approval of agreement for extended school year, at the very bottom of that paragraph, the student number 408130 should be deleted. Last but not least, there is a typo in the approval of the Cheltenham Association of School Supervisors and Administrators, CASSA Act 93 agreement. That actual agreement is for 1 year and not for 3 years. It should read that the administration recommends approval of the 1-year agreement with the Cheltenham Association of School Supervisors and Administrators, CASSA, effective July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026, as set forth in the agreement presented to the board. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Savage. Those changes are noted. I'm opening the floor to more comments. Ms. Mulhern?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Henry. I just wanted to comment briefly on the selection and approval of the 5 different HQIM, which stands for high quality instructional material, both in math and science, 6 to 12 math, and then K to 12 science. These recommendations come out of a HQIM curriculum committee that met, I believe, 4 times over the course of a few months with Dr. Riley and his team. And it comprised of parents and guardians, other adults in the community, faculty members and administrators. And it was a really great, robust process where we really got to dig in about what we were looking for as we select the resources. It wasn't just checking off, we'll just pick the same as we had last time. It really was a top to or bottom to top exercise in figuring out what was of value to us and what would be best for our students and our faculty. So I'm excited to see that these recommendations are before us tonight. And I know the teachers, the faculties were able to spend a lot of time looking at the materials and really making good decisions based on what they know our students and our community needs and values. So thank you to Dr. Riley and to his team for all of their work. It was a great process to be a part of.
Any other comments? Dr. Whiting?
Yes, just one comment on the approval of HQIM and the approval of conferences that we see here. I want to note that in our consent agenda, we explicitly tie all of the things we're approving to the strategic pillars of the strategic plan, which we will get an update on tonight from the many people who are in the room. And so if you are listening online, I encourage you to stick around. This is a plug to hear an update on the strategic plan, which will be coming, which we continually align our district work towards.
Thank you, Dr. Whiting. Mr. Schultz?
I often comment around financial items as a co-chair for finance. But I attend the Educational Affairs Committee meetings and am a member of that committee. And I am so thrilled to see these materials. This is the impact on our kids currently and for future generations, and the work that went into this, the framework that Dr. Scriven has helped put in place that led to this, and Dr. Savage as well, and everyone who is involved in evaluating these materials and will be involved in helping make sure our teachers know how to use these materials. This is the lifeblood of our district, and I'm so grateful to be able to vote on this item tonight. Thank you.
There are no other comments. We will take a vote. All in favor?
Actually, I had a quick comment. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Jenny.
Thank you. I just wanted to call out the administration, like administration as a whole, really, on reaching their CASSA agreement, the 1-year CASSA agreement. I appreciate the effort that went into that, in making that a fair and equitable agreement for our administrators. And just wanted to appreciate the administration for that. And then also to note that we're not voting to increase any the amount that students will be paying for lunch this coming school year either. We are keeping that as is. So I'm grateful for the administration to be able to do that as well.
Thank you, Ms. Bowman. Okay, we will take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. Under the information section of the agenda, our future meetings are as listed. For the month of August, as in July, we take a break from the meetings. So we will resume again on August 5th. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Leah Blitzstein and Charles Burdell Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So this meeting is adjourned, and I will turn